You're watching the 2024 SCAC Fall Media Days. Today, we're taking a look at the Southwestern University volleyball program. The Pirates will once again be led as they head into the season under the guidance of head coach Flora, along with leadership from senior defensive specialist and libero Geneva Nedrow. Coach Geneva, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Russell, for having us.
Coach, we'll open up with you heading into your ninth season there as the head coach of this Pirates volleyball program, your 25th preseason in your career. I think often we talk about kind of that reset with our student athletes, but I'm interested from a coaching perspective, emotionally, physically, mentally, you're with those athletes through the course of those years, through the journey of a season, and then of course it ends and you kind of have that relax and reset mode. And for you as a coach, how do you kind of go through that reset process? What do you do to get prepared for the season? And ultimately, now that we're here, how excited to be back in the gym and getting ready to get started for 2024?
Yeah, actually just getting back in the team room yesterday with the team was fantastic. We had our first meeting. They moved into campus and all that stuff. But coming out of last year, there was a lot of change. We had some people that needed to medically, physically have to step away. We had some changes in our staff. We needed to kind of just refresh and kind of retool. But what does that mean and how that plays out is very unique because the spring was different for Division III. This was the first time we got some extra practices in the spring, and we tried to do that mode a little different. And then I think the other part for me is to find a way to make sure my curiosity, my thinking, the modalities, the way we teach, to make sure we're searching and on the cutting edge. And I feel like our staff looked at and analyzed where were some things that we felt deficient and where can we be better. And I think that led to, for me, it's crazy. It's 25 years, a quarter of a century doing this. And I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm still a volleyball dork. As Coach Cry would say, I'm a volley dork and I love this game. And so I'm still that curiosity and the refreshness. And then my golf game's been good. My tennis game's been good. My dog still loves me. My family's happy. So those pieces really vibe in getting my mind right.
Geneva, coming into your senior season, a big year for you. Take me through your mindset as you arrive here for camp. Is there maybe a sense of urgency within that thought process coming into this year? And, what do you love so much about preseason? It is obviously one of the unique times of the year and just getting back with your team and, just kind of how excited are you to get things going here for your senior campaign?
Yes, there's definitely an urgency, and one of my favorite things about preseason is the incoming freshmen and bringing them in as an upperclassman, making sure they know the Pirate way, know we have joy in the gym, because as a freshman it can be nerve-wracking. So really bringing them into the process, making sure they're comfortable, and just excited to prepare them.
Coach, last year we talked about, you brought in a big, group of first years and knew that you were going to lean on some younger players in some big spots over the course of last season. You look at this roster, in terms of returning athletes that played over 90 sets for you. I think 6 of those 9 players, were career highs in terms of their sets played in a season. You look at your kill statistics, 3 of your top 5 were freshmen and sophomores, and I think you had that had 40 or more kills there. So a lot of young people getting a lot of action in their careers for the first time last season. So as a coach, that challenge of, okay, now they've got the experience and then they continue to develop them. Where do you try to meet that challenge? What is key for you in terms of having those athletes take that next step, and how important is preseason in terms of that process?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And another little outlier of that was that Christina Curis missed 21 days having an avulsion dislocation in her pinky. And so her numbers were a little skewed, even though she was a junior to be senior. We had to have some medical retirements. It's been a little bit strange. A couple of athletes that are not coming back. And so there's some retool there. But the spring really allowed us to understand the demands of learning, learning how to learn and learning how to make change. Change is hard in our life. We all have to have the truth in front of us and what we need to grow in. And so I really felt like our spring development, the individual tutoring, our group sessions, we really focused on where are some things that we were deficient. Like we were a little bit more higher attacking. And so how are we going about staying good in our crush, but still being really good in our pressure, or some decision-making process attacking? And then I think the real important part is how physical can we be? And so I think the investment in that was important for our athletes. And then I think just the idea of talk a little bit about the curiosity for myself, but for our program, how can we be curious about who we are? How can we invest in who we want to become as we grow? Like we talk about take care of yourself and take care of your teammates. Like if you're taking care of yourself, you've got to be willing to grow. And so it's been fun to watch that, even though there were some people that had to, leave and retire and do some things because of their bodies and stuff. I like the investment about how to learn and learning how to learn.
Geneva, you're coming off a spectacular junior campaign, really career numbers across the board. You look at career high in digs, points. You lead the SCAC in terms of aces, second in terms of digs, all SCAC performer, really a phenomenal junior season. And I wonder, what does that do for you coming off a year like that in terms of your confidence and building the confidence you have out on the floor? And also, what have you continued to work on through the course of the spring season, through the summer, to make sure you're as prepared as possible coming into this senior campaign?
Yes, it definitely brings a lot of confidence, but also makes me want to work way harder in order to better those stats. And I think being able to work hard and do it not for myself, but for my team is super important, and giving those around me the confidence and preparing for this season, working hard in the weight room. And during the summer, we have accountability partners where he puts us in groups with incoming freshmen, and we hold each other accountable in order to make sure we're working hard during the summer to prepare for this fall season.
Coach, coming into this season, it's a special one for Southwestern volleyball as you enter your last year in the SCAC. For you, nearly a decade in this league, and you certainly can't write the story in the history of SCAC volleyball without yourself, and certainly without Southwestern and what they've meant. So, I'm interested just, a little reflection on what the SCAC has meant to you, and just knowing that it is this special final year. Does that, motivate you and this group to try to make it as special as possible going into this season?
Yeah, and it gives you some pause to reflect a little bit. We're one of a few teams ever to go to a Final Four in the NCAA Division III era for Southwestern. We're the only team to ever do that here at Southwestern. The SCAC has deep level of history of great volley and great people involved in that. And so my colleagues, there's some people that have become very good friends and close, deep colleagues. And so that's important. I think it's hard for me because I feel like the SCAC is such a good conference in the sense of who we are and how we take care of each other, and the cross connection between the universities and colleges where we respect each other and what we do and how we go about it. And I've seen the development. When I first arrived in this conference, we opened this, my tenure with a Final Four run. We hosted a regional. I wouldn't mind bookending it, by the way. We opened with a Final Four and maybe a step farther. But those things are memories and thoughts that make me feel like this conference, I know these coaches that have grown and worked, and you see sort of the middle getting better and everybody getting better in this conference in volleyball. And I think that's a real tribute to the coaches. And so it's hard. These are good people that have worked hard, and I've enjoyed. And this conference has treated Southwestern and our program at a really professional level. So like for you and Dwayne, I appreciate it, Russell. I appreciate what you guys have helped us do.
Geneva, as we wrap up with you, as you head into this season and have had conversations with some of your other teammates and leaders within your group about some of the goals and expectations going into 2024, what have those conversations looked like, and ultimately what is going to be key for the Pirates to accomplish those heading into the year?
Yeah, a lot of the things we talk about in our gym, we talk about a lot about volleyball specific communication. And so it's not just, hey, you need to get a kill. It's these spots are open and that's how you're going to score. Or it's not get a better pass, make sure your angle is like this. And being able to directly communicate with your teammates and make sure that you can also receive it well is super important. Communication is such an important part of volleyball. So that's what we're working on.
And Coach, finally, as we wrap up, in our world of sports, success, can be defined in so many different ways, so many different metrics. Obviously, there's black and white, the win losses, the statistics, but so much success can be, measured outside of the lines of our floor. And I'm interested for you, when you talk about success with your team, with your women, what is that message you try to relay? And ultimately this season, it looks successful of what plays out for this team here in 2024.
Yeah, I think one of the things we share is we're not going to remember our record. We may not remember the exact score of this match, but we're going to remember each other. And I just got a message a day or two ago of a couple of players saying, "Hey, good luck, coach." And hey, by the way, my husband and I, we're having a kid, and those stories, those connections. I have the assistant coaching tree where assistant coaches are off being head coaches and they're getting started at this, that, and the other school. And, the long-term effect of how we take care of one another, how we respect each other, how we communicate, how we invest in the relationships. We don't use family lightly, and so sharing that those are successes, and then it's also the ahas, the moments where you see, hey, we're working on this, and all of a sudden you see a middle who isn't really comfortable doing this, and all of a sudden they do it, and that you light up. Those are the aha moments. Those are the things that we'll remember, and that's success, because change and growth are hard. A growth mindset is a challenge, and it's hard work. And then I think one of the last things to say is, how are we known? We talk a lot about it in our gym and in our conversations. When someone comes to watch us train, we have outside people come visit and study us and look at us. How do they see us? If someone has never seen this program, how are we known? And so if we can have joy in the gym and a relationship where people go, that team cares for one another, that's a real high point for me to see that happen in our gym, in the Pirate way, and the sense of family really bubbling up in our gym.
Southwestern University head volleyball coach Don Flora, along with senior libero Geneva Nedrow. The Pirates will open up the season on August 30th when they take on Aurora. Coach Geneva, thanks so much for your time today, and best of luck as you head into the year.
Love it. Go Pirates, and thanks for your time, Russell.
Thank you.